Caitlin Clark is going to spend all of next season playing in NBA arenas. We've got rival fans being furious that, you know, Caitlin Clark is that she's getting new arenas, getting moved to new arenas. You've got people saying that they're pushing the Fever. Why are they pushing the Fever?
Caitlin Clark is not just making waves, she is flooding the entire league. Entire WNBA franchises are straight up evacuating their home courts, like someone pulled a fire alarm labeled Caitlin's coming to Atlanta, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Las Vegas, Washington, D.C. They are all scrambling to bigger venues just to handle the Clark quake. Somewhere out there, Angel Reese is doom scrolling, wondering why her name is not plastered on these mega billboards.
One thing is very clear. The Indiana Fever is America's team. And boy, the haters by the time this season is over, their heads are going to have exploded already. They're going to be so angry by the end of this WNBA season. I mean, it's going to be hilarious watching the daily meltdown.
Now just take a beat and soak this in. WNBA teams are voluntarily ditching their beloved home courts just to accommodate one rookie phenom. That is not hype. That is history. 6 different franchises are abandoning their regular spots to move into NBA arenas, meaning every Indiana Fever road game is now happening in a venue that seats at least 15,000. Not because it is trendy, but because Clark fills arenas like nobody else in the league, while some teams are still playing in what feel like converted rec centers. Caitlin's presence demands NBA-level real estate that is superstar territory.
There are 6 WNBA teams that have moved their games to NBA or NBA size arenas.
And let us not pretend these are just slightly bigger gymnasiums. These are full-on arena glow-ups. The Atlanta Dream moving up to State Farm. Arena, the Chicago Sky. Yes, the same team that treated Angel Reese like she was the second coming of Michael Jordan are now humbling themselves with 2 United Center games, not for Reese but for Clark, because unless the Fever are in town, Reese might as well be playing at a community center. Even the Aces with all their glitter and trophies are booking T-Mobile Arena just to brace for the Fever frenzy. Caitlin
Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it!
That's a deep one.
Bang!
Just announced that Caitlin Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. They're coming to watch the other girl, right?
Right! Bang!
Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that?
Bang!
Angel Reese attempted a 3 this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder.
Bang!
You want some butter with that bread? Butter
pecan! Bang!
It is hilarious when you think about it. Just last season, these teams were all fronting like Caitlin Clark was just another draft pick. We do not need her, they said, chests puffed. The league is just fine, they said, and yet here we are, the same teams. Now groveling for court space big enough to hold the Clark crowds. It is not just rolling out the red carpet, it is demolishing the road and repaving it in gold bricks.
And a Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center. Home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks. In Atlanta, by the way, that's the home of the Hawks. Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden, home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV.
Special recognition goes to Connecticut. This franchise does not even have an NBA arena nearby. So what do? They pack their bags and shift the whole operation to Boston. That is right. New state, new zip code, new everything. Just to make space. For Caitlin. That is not guest treatment. That is royalty level. Hospitality. Can you imagine if Angel Reese tried to pull the same move? They would laugh her all the way to a suburban middle school gym.
We're now at the stage where Caitlin Clark is probably going to be responsible. I'm not joking when I say this. For like games where she plays in are probably going to be responsible for like 30% of the attendance in the WNBA.
And it does not stop there. The Dallas Wings and Washington Mystics are also relocating their Clark matchups to larger venues, complete with extra seats and luxury boxes and, let us be honest, bigger profit margins. This is not coincidence. This is strategic planning. Caitlin Clark rolls into town and boom. It is not just a basketball game, it is an economic stimulus. One ESPN analyst even called her the WNBA's walking GDP boost. He meant it as a joke, but honestly, the numbers back it up.
There are teams that are going to average 3,000 fans at games. but have 17,000 fans when Caitlin Clark shows up to town with the Fever.
Now let us check in on the haters. The same ones who were yelling from the rooftops that Clark was overhyped have gone suspiciously silent. Why? Because their arenas are sold out. Their jerseys are flying off the shelves and their TV ratings are skyrocketing, all thanks to the player they pretended did not matter. And Angel Reese is still stewing over her not-so-unrivaled championship, watching Caitlin get the spotlight, the schedule, and the stadiums.
Phoenix Mercury play in the NBA arena. The Seattle Storm do. There are 13 WNBA teams, 7 already playing NBA arenas. The other 6 are moving their games to NBA arenas versus the Fever. You can't acknowledge that she is the needle mover.
Before Caitlin Clark touched down in the WNBA, the average game pulled in about 6,000 fans, basically enough to fill a medium-sized high school pep rally. But Clark is casually packing out 2,000-seat arenas, like it is just another Tuesday. That is, not just a boost, that is triple the usual turnout. These fans are not buying tickets to see the local team. They are showing up because of her league execs are practically tripping over themselves, openly, admitting they would sacrifice home court. Advantage just to cash in on the Clark frenzy. That is not hype. That is a walking ATM in sneakers.
I believe there was actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that. Bang!
Let us break down the numbers. WNBA attendance spiked 48% last season, and unless your math is broken, that increase has Caitlin Clark's name stamped all over it. Teams are not just scheduling her games, they are orbiting their whole season. Around her appearances, the Las Vegas Aces, the same team that rolls their eyes every time Clark's name trends, have quietly shifted multiple games to the T-Mobile Arena. And why? Because they know the Caitlin effect is the real MVP for all the eye. Rolls and cryptic tweets even. They cannot deny she is the main attraction.
We've got some more information on the games and some perspective. Here we are. Indiana Fever put this out, man, just a few minutes ago. All eyes on us. 41
But the
of our
real madness
44
starts when you turn on the
games
TV.
national
Caitlin
television.
Clark has locked in 41 nationally televised games this season. That is not just more airtime than any player, that is more than entire franchises have had in years. We are talking ESPN, ABC, CBS, and NBA TV. Every network wants a bite of the Clark buffet. It is a broadcast feeding frenzy, and nobody is showing up for leftovers.
Most television games in franchise history, the most national television games in for a single team in WNBA history. How about that?
Last season, the Indiana Fever were not even an afterthought. They were basically that dusty book on the bottom shelf, ignored and unopened. But with Clark, suddenly they are the league's golden child, front and center in every primetime slot. The same team that was buried in the standings is now the crown jewel of WNBA coverage. And you know that is eating away at players like Angel Reese. For years, they thought the throne was just sitting there waiting for them. Then along comes Caitlin. With her records, her ratings, and her ridiculous range, and suddenly it is her show.
This also just came out. This is the national broadcast schedule right here against the Sky. It's an ABC broadcast network television game. New York Liberty. It's a CBS game.
And just to stir the pot a little more, networks are not just picking any Fever games, they are targeting the spicy ones. ABC made sure they grabbed the Chicago matchups because, let us be honest, the Clark-Reese saga is pure ratings, gold CBS locked. In the Liberty clashes, while ESPN made sure to book the showdown with the Aces, because who does not want to see Clark roast the super team that has been pretending she is not a problem?
These are all going to be big rated games. CBS against the Sky, ABC against the Liberty. So you're seeing the teams that move the needles that they're going to play. That should draw some ratings anyway. I'm not going to say these other teams move the needles because they really do.